All right, Alistair, Clayton, you guys both watched the Godzilla Singular Point trailer. You've seen all the monsters that are going to be making a return in this new anime series. But what other monsters do you want to see coming back? Both Toho or maybe even newer monsters that aren't from the Toho movies, but they're part of like the Godzilla legacy? Which monsters do you want to see in this new Godzilla anime coming out on Netflix next year? I'll start off with you, Al.
I'll let Klayton go first since he's just been released from our basement. So you know what? I'll give him the honors first.
Okay. Clayton, let's hear
it. Crustacious Rex from the Godzilla animated series. It's been criminally underused.
How do you remember that?
Wow.
No, but you know what? Seriously, like this, I was very surprised to see what I did see in that trailer. I'll talk about one of them later on, but it would be cool to see an updated version for the show of something like Baragon or maybe one of the more dinosaur-looking ones like Varan, because I really like the way they've treated Rodan, and Anguirus is like a boulder, but yeah, I think Varan or Baragon would be pretty cool to see personally.
That would be cool. And I just made a video talking about like the classic Toho monsters. And Varan, I feel like, has never really got too much attention.
Yeah.
But it's like a really cool design. It's like this gliding dinosaur-y sort of reptile monster. And that would be really cool to see in this format, I think. That would be something nice. Because it looks like they're going with kind of more realistic monsters in this this anime, like with the way how they're
certainly redesigned.
Yeah, they're reimagining them to be more in line with reality. Like you said I think you said with Rodan. Rodan looks like a pterosaur.
They're ironically doing like what that Godzilla 1998 movie did, and it looks cool, man. I'm down for it. Okay. Is that Gabara? Are you sure that's Gabara? That thing?
Yes,
comes
it's
out
Gabara.
Yeah.
Who the hell's idea was it to pick that?
Gabara is the best monster in the Godzilla series. He's fantastic. He has his only purpose is to bully a child. Like, he's fantastic.
He's just
to be fair, the child is very annoying.
Yeah.
It's a cool design. Like it looks really cool. I looked. I was like, is that a blue King Caesar or something? And I thought it could have been that thing from Rebirth of Mothra 2. And then Jacob's like, no, it's Gabara.
Well, it looks like way more like the original like Japanese folklore that it is based off. Like they've made it look a lot more. It's like something to do with mischief, like, and it's way more like geared towards that than the horrific thing we saw in the All Monsters Attack. So I think that you've got that. You've got what, Titanosaurus coming back. You've got
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
And like he looks completely different. He's not going on land.
Yeah.
So like it's basically a completely different monster with the head of Titanosaurus.
Yeah. I like the direction that this show is appearing to take all the monsters, Godzilla included. They all just look cool. They look like the classic, the classic Toho designs, but less goofy. They're not guys in suits, so they can actually kind of have some fun with it. And I think that's sweet. And that's why I want to see, and this is what everybody wants to see, and I'm going to start off early with a big bang. Let's see what Destroya looks like in this series. We know we're getting the crew and the scientists. This has got to be, if we were to go out and ask everybody, what monster do you want to see in the Monsterverse if it was to continue? Destroya is going to get 90% of the votes. So people really want to see Destroya, and this show that has like this group of people, scientists, whatever they are, we don't know yet. It would make sense to have Destroya, who is pretty much just a giant science experiment gone wrong in a way. Like he's from the Earth's or humanity's science technology is how he was, formed.
And plus the whole in the trailer, like you see all this like red mist that is appearing to take some kind of control of the monsters at least. And it's like, considering like Destroya is just this like giant red devil looking thing, it wouldn't be out of the ordinary to be like, yeah, I can connect the dots there.
Yeah. So that's the most obvious kind of basic monster I'd like to see in it. But one that's kind of another more underground one that I think would do good in this series is Megalon. I'd like to see those. I'd like to see those drills in used in a anime like this, to where they could go to town and it wouldn't be constricted. Like I said, by a guy in a suit. They could actually show him like digging through the ground and like cool views, and then like bursting out of it real quick. That'd be really cool. And I guess that makes me think I'd like to see Gigan as well. Both of them would be really cool in this series.
It's crazy that Megalon is such a popular monster, and I think it's still only in one movie, unless it was in those animated Netflix things. Was it in that?
No.
It was like a little cameo, I think. It was like a tiny little cameo, but like it was basically not even a character. Yeah, but it was featured again in the Tokyo Clash board game, which I played on the channel, which is and I remember asking the people that made it, we were like, why did you include it? And they were like, because it's not really in anything else, and we wanted to give it a chance, basically.
Yeah, Megalon, I'm pretty sure it's only been in one movie and like a bunch of video games, but it got really popular from that one appearance, just because its design is really unique. It's like this cockroach human with drills, and that's just a bizarre concept, and it's cool, and I'd like to see it. And
shoots grenades out its mouth. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'd like to see it in Singular Point.
I think it'd be a great addition. I mean, I don't know how you could go wrong with Megalon. It's only in one film, and that film was campy. So, if you go for anything slightly realistic, you're probably going to get applause. I mean, to me, that's a great one to throw in there.
Yeah. Al, you got yours yet?
Yeah, I would like to see Biollante. I did say that in the end of my last video, but in case anyone didn't see that, I'd love to see Biollante, because I think if you animate that, like, you can put way more like of like these like tendril, like these plant tendrils coming out of the ground. Like, you could have it all over the world, and you could make it way more like twisted and a bit more animalistic in like a weird plant kind of way. So you could be way more overgrown, like things they couldn't do with a puppet. And I think it would be super interesting and almost like scary, like how big it could get. And I think it could be really cool to put in animated form, because they could combine 2D with 3D, and it wouldn't be that hard to do. I say that, but it probably would be. But I think I'd like to see it, because it's not really been in a new film since the original, and the last time the only time it was in a game was Godzilla Unleashed, and it was way too overpowered in that game, but I always loved playing as it.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. And I think that's one thing that we're discovering as we're talking about it right now, is that doing an anime right, nothing against the anime trilogy that came out over the last few years or so with Godzilla, but they had this epic chance of bringing all the classic, or at least some of the classic monsters to the screen in a format that isn't a guy in a suit. And they kind of just decided to put them all in like a little prequel thing, to where you've seen like pictures of them or something, I think. And like, I get it, they wanted to have their own story, but I'm just excited that we can see a lot of these classic monsters, but in a more like realistic to how they would move as these giant creatures, and not like guys in suits or puppets or something like that. There's just so many.
The ones that did appear that in the Netflix trilogy, like the ones that actually did appear, were pretty cool. Like, they obviously thought about it. They were like trying to make it really different. Like Ghidorah being an interdimensional like black hole creature was really cool, and Godzilla being like made out of the Earth itself, again, really cool. But watching it, you're like, it feels like the filmmakers are like almost embarrassed that it's a Godzilla film, and like trying their best to like not show the monsters, and like, look, it's not a Godzilla film, I promise.
It
was weird.
But this one, it seems to be embracing the whole show aspect of it. And it's like, let's do what anime is best at. Let's make it campy. Let's make it fun. Let's do everything to make it quirky. Let's do everything we can to make it an enjoyable series, and that's, I think, the right choice to do.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff they can do here. I stand tall with this statement, in that the Godzilla, the 1998 animated series, was so good. Maybe even, at least in my opinion, the best complete Godzilla product that you can get if you watch the whole season. And because of that why that is because it's a cartoon, and they were able to do so much cool things with the creatures they created. The characters they had, the human characters, were even fun. They were quirky. They were campy.
Right.
This world of monsters fits so good in a cartoon or animated format, because there's no limitations, and that's just, I don't know. I'm excited about Singular Point. Now it could end up.
You could tell that they really liked they really respected Godzilla and they really wanted to do it right. You could tell they wanted to do that with the animated series. So hopefully they can do that here. But another monster I'd like to see, going back to the monsters, is something that was and still is my favorite, is Space Godzilla.
Ooh, I didn't think about Space Godzilla. I totally forgot about him. Yeah, that would be really cool.
He's my favorite psychic chunky boy. He literally could just, like, his only purpose was to, and it's such a interesting character because in the film, like, he's only kidnapping is it Godzilla Jr.? Yeah, because he thinks it's his. It's a clone of Godzilla.
The baby Godzilla.
He thinks that's his son.
Little
And he's
Godzilla.
just getting him back, and he's portrayed as this villain when actually he's like kind of this tragic, like horrible mutation. Is like he's not meant to exist, and he's like, wow, why do I exist? I don't know what I'm doing, and I need to take my son back. And it could be a really interesting dynamic to add in this new series. Plus, he's just cool. He's just Godzilla with spikes for shoulders.
That design is awesome. The like little mandible things that he's got on the side of his mouth and the giant like crystals coming out of his shoulders. It's just a
Space
cool looking
Godzilla's
design.
one of the
He's
best.
got like pincers on the end of his tail, and he just like grabs onto things and chucks them
And
about.
he
It's
just
great.
flies like this weird asteroid. Just boo.
Yeah, he is like a big crystal monster flying through that black sheet in the background and a whole bunch of asteroids on strings.
Well, when Mogura just like starts spinning out, and it's just like, wee.
Yeah, I love that though. That's so fun.
It's obvious they were just spinning the camera around.
Yeah,
You know what? So we seen Jet Jaguar, right? So
yeah.
if in this show, apparently there's going to be some sort of technology to where people are capable of building, because Jet Jaguar is like a robot guy thing, more or less, made by mankind, I think. And so if we're going to go down that route and say that that's okay in this new series, here's a weird curveball for you. Why not Mechanicong?
You know what? That could be something that they do. Wait, what are the rights surrounding that though?
I don't know. That would be the only issue with it. But I think Mechanicong was a Toho thing.
It was.
I'm not entirely sure, but I don't know where it goes now, and that's the only thing that would prevent it.
I think it depends on distribution, because if it obviously is an international thing, they'd have to get the rights from Universal, because I think in the US, Mechanicon's a Universal property, but in Japan it's
Well, didn't they
it's
try
Toho.
to? They tried to remake.
So they'd have to be like, yo, Universal, we want to use
Didn't
it.
they try to remake Godzilla vs. King Kong in the 90s? And I think at one point in time, that Mechanicong thing came up in like a rights. I could be wrong, but like I remember there was a lot of legal issue with, because 1996, Peter Jackson was working on his own version of King Kong, which wasn't that long after they killed Godzilla. So, I mean, there has to be something there with Mechanicong and King Kong in general for Toho.
Yeah, there's something there, and whether they can do it or not, I just think it would be a cool way of plugging in Kong, getting that little cross promotion with Godzilla versus Kong. I think it would just be kind of neat to see a big giant ape, robot ape smacking monsters.
giant metal ape.
Just like clubbing them with its fists. I think that'd be real cool.
What about Gorosaurus? No one thought about that.
Gorosaurus, that would make a lot of sense. He's really simple designed, and he's like one of the more...
Yeah, if they actually try to redesign it like they've been redesigning all the other ones, would they just make it into a big T-Rex?
They'd probably do something with the legs, make it more kangaroo-esque.
That's what I was just about to say. They'd probably make him like a T-Rex kangaroo, because that's kind of how he fights. He fights like a kangaroo, but he looks like a weird dinosaur from...
Remember in Destroy All Monsters,
He
just kind of
kicks Ghidorah to the ground.
They could make this weird hybrid kangaroo dinosaur T-Rex looking thing, which would be actually really
Yeah,
Ooh.
that'd be cool.
beep. It'd be really it'd be really cool design. To be different, bizarre.
I'm trying to think of anything else, but there's so many monsters in their library.
Like, why don't we just name all of them? Just get all of them in there.
Of having like the Godzilla from the animated series in there, but I don't think we need to do that.
Oh man, that would be so cool. I love
Okay,
that
never mind.
design.
It's
I
like
don't
a
care what
surprise
anybody
cameo.
says. That's a cool design. That's what they're doing to the monsters right now in Singular Point. They're making them like that. So throw in Zilla. Just do it. It's cool.
Making them more realistic. Throw in Zilla. All right, we're gonna add that in there. Actually, we're gonna talk about Zilla. You're right, Klayton. You're you're feeling proud about this right now. I agree with you. I wasn't gonna include it just because I'm sure people are gonna be like, oh, you just like you like Zilla, blah blah blah. But I'm
it's not Godzilla.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, nah, it would just be really cool in Singular Point because this Singular Point looks like anime version of the old cartoon. It's just like this crew and like monsters and they're like combating them and all that. I'd like to see it. Whether they use like the Godzilla 98 like from the movie or they use his son, which everybody seems to really I think we all agree that the one from the cartoon is a badass and like he is actually Godzilla. Even the people that hate Godzilla 98, like come on now. You got to respect Godzilla Jr. or whatever the heck his name is. That would be really cool. You see those green flames coming out.
He has the atomic breath. He's powerful. He's fast swimming. He's got everything that Godzilla has.
Yeah.